Hi, my name is Schyler and I am 20 years old. I started using around the age of 11 years old. I actually believed that if there was a God, He would not allow all of the bad things to have happened in my life. There was kind of that instinct in me that knew that if there is a God, that He is good. At 17 and 18, I became homeless. I was fully addicted to heroin and meth. I was in and out of psychiatric hospitals. And I had this woman, she was always telling me, she was praying for me, she was asking me if I would go into this Christian-based program, and I'm like, listen lady, I don't even believe in God, why would I go into this Christian-based program? And she's like, just think about it. And I'm like, I don't believe in God, why would I go? And so then one day I had a specifically very, very poor day. Pretty much everything you could think that went wrong. I sat on the side of a Motel 6 and I was done. I was completely done. I got another call from that same woman asking me if I'd go into the program, and I told her no again. And that day, I was like, all right, God, if you're real, do something. And within 24 hours, I was arrested with quite a large amount of drugs on me, and instead of bringing me to jail, they actually brought me back to a psych hospital. I spent about a week in the psych hospital when I was flown from San Diego, California, where I had been living for quite some time homeless, because I still had a very hard heart and I was still a mess. I was actually asked to leave that program due to some psychiatric issues. I was then brought right into another faith-based program. I don't really know how that happened. God just had His hand all up in it. And I was then saved. And while I was there, I learned that Jesus was born in a manger, died on a cross. Pretty much the fundamentals of the gospel. After that program, I was dropped off at a homeless shelter in Lakeland. So I typed in halfway houses in Lakeland. I found out that there was one called the Agape House, and conveniently when I went to type in Agape House in Google, I typed in Agape Home. And Agape Home is the same program more or less than the other ones that I was in. And at that point, I kind of knew how to hear from the Lord, and I just heard, yep, there you go. And I'm like, no, I want to go into a halfway house. And He's like, no, another year-long program. So I was like, okay. So they said it takes quite some time, at least a month, to get accepted in the program. I was accepted within 48 hours into that program. So it was just confirmation that that's where I was supposed to be. Throughout that program, the Lord just softened my heart, and He took away that heart of stone for sure and gave me a heart of flesh that I've been able to feel. I've been able to not only love others, but learn how to receive love. I had so many walls built up, and one by one, He tore them down. So as I was in the Agape Home, I was there for about 2 months when a woman came into the program. And she had told me that one of her friends that reminded me of her, that was my age, she was like, yeah, she went to like Panama or something and did something called YWAM. And I'm like, what's YWAM? She's like, Youth with a Mission. And she just described it to me, and I was amazed. I'm doing that. I don't know how, I don't know when. I mean, I literally have like $3,000 in debt. Denise, I'm doing that. I'm doing that. And she's like, oh yeah. And so she took me on pass, and I went back to the program, and I was like, all right, Lord, I know You want me to go. So He didn't tell me where exactly right then, but all I was hearing was July. I had both feet in with God, and I wanted to go to the bush. I wanted to tell the people that had never even heard the name of Jesus about Jesus. I was so excited. So as I was going through all the school locations and that kind of thing, Australia kept popping out, and I'm like, Australia sounds cool, but I want to go to the bush. But I couldn't get away from Australia. I then put on a filter of the Australia schools in July. So as we went through it, there was the adventure one, and I'm like, yeah, Lord, let's go on an adventure. That sounds great. We can go skydiving, bungee jumping. So unfortunately, as much as Other people have a great time going on that one. I was not called to that one. And the only other one that was popping up was a human trafficking one and prostitution. I did not want to drag up my past. Within 2 days, 3 people had told me, I don't know anything about you or your past, but God is definitely going to use that in your life in the ministry. And I was like, oh, okay. And I really didn't know, because it ended up being close to $11,000, where I was like, Lord, I still owe 3, like, come on now. And he just reminded me that he is a big God and he is faithful, and even when I doubt, he doesn't. And through the process of this raising the money, he has been faithful every single step of the way. I felt at one point that he asked me to pay for a good chunk of it, and he provided a job that definitely did that. And from speaking at churches with 12 people and $600 coming in, to people walking up to me at restaurants that don't know me from Eve were handing me $100, and people that hardly know me, people that don't even like me, gave me money. And he has just shown himself faithful every single step of the way. Period.